All right, so I was asked after the Kiai that were arrested protecting Sherwood to talk a little bit about what are your rights when you're arrested, because some of them were not read their rights when they were arrested. And does that make the arrest illegal? So I've been kind of putting this video off because I've been busy doing other things. But I think it's an important topic because I used to get asked this a lot. And as you all know, I teach criminal law here. But even when I practice criminal law, a lot of clients will come in and say, Mr. Lawson, the police arrested me. And didn't they have to read me their rights? And so what are your rights when the police arrest you and you're involved in peaceful, nonviolent protest or civil disobedience or peaceful, nonviolent protesting? And again, so my answer would be when they would say, when some people say, hey, Attorney Lawson, I was arrested and they didn't read me my rights, and can't you get my case thrown out because that's an illegal arrest? And I would explain to them because a lot of people get this confused. And my first question would be, did the police start asking you questions after they arrested you about what happened? And they said, no, they didn't say nothing. They put me in the cruiser, handcuffed me and put me in the cruiser. They took me down to jail and then let me out. And I got processed and I got put in the jail. Right? But they didn't read me my rights. And so I was telling them, that's not an illegal arrest. Why? Because if you listen to the rights, the Miranda rights is what they're called, because they're called Miranda because this guy named Miranda was charged with a heinous murder. And the police took him into the station. They questioned him without a lawyer present for several hours, and he eventually confessed. And when Miranda went to court, his lawyer argued, look, this confession was coerced. It was given in an environment to where my client felt that he had no other avenue other than to confess. And so what the court said was, all right, well, here's what we're going to do. Whenever the police take a citizen in custody, arrest them, and they want to question them about the crime for which they arrested them for, they had to read them. Now we call them Miranda rights because it was Miranda whose case decided this. And so those rights, and you've seen them on TV, you've heard them. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. You have a right to a lawyer. If you can't afford a lawyer, one will be appointed to you. You have a right to stop questioning any time that you want, right, etc. And so all those questions go towards what your rights are if the police are going to interrogate you. If the police arrest you and they ain't going to try to question you, then there's no reason they don't have to read you the Miranda rights, right? So two things have to happen. Let's say they walk up to you and you're not under arrest and you're on the street corner and you're not, they say, what are you doing here? And what do you have in your pocket? Or where were you coming from? Right? They don't have to read you your rights then. Why? Because you're not in custody. So two things happens that will trigger why they have to read you your rights. That you have to be in custody, meaning under arrest. Or if they don't tell you you're under arrest, no reasonable person will believe that they were free to leave. Right? They put you in the back of the cruiser, 4 cops surround you, you try to leave, they won't let you leave, and they question you, then you're in custody, and then if they question you, they have to read you your rights. So those two things have to happen. Getting back to what I would always advise my clients, and this is what I teach my students, once you get arrested, shut up. Shut up. I would tell my clients, man, you know what, if you're going to commit a crime, and this is not for those that's involved in nonviolent peaceful protests, this is for real criminals, right? But I would tell them, I was like, look, man, if you're going to go out there and do something, the best way of not getting caught, as soon as you commit the crime, cut your tongue out. Just cut it out. Take a big sharp knife with you. Go do whatever you got, and then cut your tongue out. Because it's your mouth that gets you in trouble. Everybody wants to get in and explain. And even if you're innocent, so, my clients say, well, I was innocent. That's why I kept talking. Even if you're innocent, right? So let's say that you get arrested, and somebody says, 2 weeks ago, you were accused of robbing 7-Eleven at 8 o'clock at night. And you're like, that couldn't be me because I was at the movie theater on Friday night. I had a date with my girlfriend on Friday night, so you wrong. And then what happens? So you didn't do it, but for whatever reason, when they asked you about that night 2 weeks ago, you confused your Thursday night with your Friday. So when they go back and check, you did take your girlfriend to the movies, but it was on Thursday night. So now you made a mistake, an honest mistake. But they're gonna say you was lying. So even though you're innocent, they're gonna use your words against you, right? And if they come and arrest you, and then want to interrogate you, they already done made up their mind. Only reason why they question, you ever seen this show called The First 48? The First 48 is about, even when they got evidence, in the first 48 hours of a crime, right? If you don't solve the crime in the first 48 hours, the likelihood that you'll ever solve and catch the perpetrator diminishes dramatically, right? So you got the best chance when we look at the police statistics of catching the perpetrator of a crime if you do it in the first 48 hours. That's why that show is called First 48. But even when they got evidence, they're always seeking that confession. Always seeking that confession, right? Because again, a confession, your words will put you at a place and be more convincing, or just as convincing as other evidence. But again, and this would be another video, you saw from the Central Park jogger case. If you watched that Netflix series called When They See Us, about the brothers that were wrongfully convicted back in 1989 for rape of this lady that was jogging through Central Park. Remember, that's the one where President Trump took out a full-page ad back then talking about we need to institute the death penalty and kill these animals. Right? Then it came out that they didn't do it. But keep in mind, 4 of them falsely confessed to a crime they didn't commit. Right? And how do we know this? Because DNA shows us that at least 20% of individuals who've been exonerated through DNA testing since 1993, 20% of those people, there have been over 350 exonerations since 1993, where DNA has showed that these people are actually innocent. They've been in prison for a crime they didn't commit. 20% of those people that's in prison, or that was in prison, confessed to a crime they never committed. And most people say, well, you know what, I would never confess to a crime. If murder? Man, if I didn't do the murder, I don't care how long you hold me. Right? And we know that's not true. So again, if you have any other legal issues, criminal law related or civil rights related you want to talk about, comment at the bottom of the video, and I'll look at it, or shoot me an email. But like the email, or like this video, subscribe to my channel, and I'll be talking to you in the next few days.